What prompted Jamaican migrant farm workers in Niagara region to write an open letter to Jamaica's Ministry of Labour requesting more support in the face of what they call systematic slavery? Is there any truth to these allegations? The cry for help from the Jamaican farm workers came days before a migrant worker died in Norfolk County. Ministry officials says that farm worker Garvin Yap, age 57, of St. James, was fatally injured while using farm equipment on August 14 at Burlow's Best Farm in Norfolk County. His death is still being investigated by Canadian authorities.
Justin Trudeau, Mr. Foreign Affairs and Immigration Policy, I'm asking you just a favor. Take a trip and go in one of the greenhouse. Right time now, summer. Take her in one of the field and look what we are doing for the Canadian people. Even yourself, Mr. Justin Trudeau, look we are doing to keep the country alive. Between Jamaican, Haitian, St. Lucian, Guatemalan, Mexican, and wherever come from other country come here to work. Just take a trip and see how we have to leave our family and to make life easier for us and for you and the country, because we are building the country, but what is the benefit we are getting from the country? And we are just asking for just a little benefit from the country that we can have life a little easier on our family. And we have to fight in so hard for it. Come on, Mr. Justin Trudeau and Mr. Foreign Affairs and Immigration Policy. Step up the game, man. Step up the game. Don't make we have to blame anymore. Just step up the game and look into yourself. Just give us status for all. Just give us what we're asking for. And just set us free. We need it. We need it. We don't want it. We need it.
Migrant rights networks, advocates and allies in Canada are calling for status for all. Status for all means permanent residency for all temporary migrant workers and their families who live in Canada with precarious legal status.
The Canada-Jamaican farm workers wrote an anonymous open letter to Jamaica's Labour Minister Karl Samuda. It highlighted scenarios such as migrant workers are crammed into crowded living quarters, given insufficient food, subjected to verbal abuse and lack workplace protections. It further describes rats eating their food, physical intimidation, bosses who threaten to fire them, punishments for not working fast enough, exposure to dangerous pesticides and overcrowded and camera-filled houses that feel like prisons. The letter compares the Canada's seasonal agricultural workers program to that of a systemic slavery. The letter further reads, "We wish we could say these words to you directly, but we are afraid that if we do, we will be kicked out of the program and will not be able to come back and earn the money we need to care for our families."
Did the appropriate officials in Jamaica respond? Their fellow citizens cry out for help. Did they respond?
The following is a report from CHCH-TV.
Those alleging mistreatment and poor living conditions on farms across the Niagara region. Earlier this week, an advocacy group penned an open letter to them demanding change. Jason Gaidola brings us the latest on this.
In a recent call for help from unnamed Jamaican migrant workers in Niagara, Jamaica's labor minister is dismissing allegations of mistreatment and poor conditions.
I did not detect, quite frankly, any of the allegations that are meted out.
During a conference call, Jamaica's Karl Samuda responded by saying he toured 9 farms in 7 locations within 4 days earlier this month and lauded the working conditions, living quarters, and the farming employers during his visits.
I found the trip very productive. I found that the program was being well managed.
In an open letter this month released by advocacy group Migrant Workers Alliance for Change, claims systematic slavery within Canada's seasonal agricultural workers program, and alleged 2 Niagara farms failed to address overcrowded housing and pest infestations, along with intimidating behavior from employers. Samuda says the Jamaican workforce provided to Canada's farming industry is vital to its country.
And we will do everything in our power to ensure that this relationship not only continues but is strengthened.
CHCH News reached out to both farms named in the letter this week. One responded, calling the allegations completely false.
Migrant farm workers, authors of the letter, are issuing this statement. Hearing what Minister Samuda has been saying to the media, we feel betrayed. But it's no surprise to us that the Jamaican government is choosing to take the side of exploitative workers.
Executive Director with Migrant Workers Alliance for Change, Saeed Hussain, says the group are 2 committees of workers and fear of repercussions if they speak out publicly. He adds, by the response from the Jamaican officials, the group wants to turn to Canadian authorities.
It is now the Government of Canada's responsibility to allow workers a seat at the table by giving them permanent resident status so that they can represent and advocate for themselves.
Ontario's Labour Ministry says it's working with the federal government while they continue to investigate the matter. The province says they look into working conditions while Ottawa oversees living arrangements. As for the minister, Samuda in Jamaica, he says they will increase liaison staff in Canada to support workers.
Many farm workers expressed feeling of betrayal from their own country's official, leading them to turn to Canadian officials for help. You can't help but wonder, was this a betrayal? Was this an act of using influential power to maintain a good relationship with Canada while sacrificing the needs of the Jamaican farm workers' plea for help?